Oh man. Man, oh man. Almost messed my own live up. Oh goodness, goodness. I know nobody ain't hopped on here yet, but I'm sitting here looking to go live and just realized I put 9:50 instead of 8:50. Ooh, I had to change that real quick. All right, just popping those notifications out. Give y'all a second to roll up in here, party people. All right. Ooh, glad I caught that. All right. So let me finish getting some stuff together on this side of the his house. Check this here. Oh man. See who pops up in here tonight might not be too many of y'all. It's a little late in the evening. I know folk getting ready for their Sunday activities and stuff. But if you're able to hop on here, we're gonna chop it up for a little bit. All right, there go my man, the healthy crew. I was just hitting him back on in the comment section. All right. So cool, man. Cool, cool. So just let me know. You should be able to hear me okay. I was tweaking my microphone. So hopefully y'all should be able to hear me and stuff. Hold up. All right, let me do something real quick. Okay, yep, y'all can hear me. There we- Yep, okay, I can hear myself. Gotcha. Cool. Cool. Oh man, goodness. Yeah, and thanks for hitting the like button, party people. Um, mm, literally, I'm just waking up about about almost an hour ago. No, 45 minutes ago. Oh no, hour ago. Yeah, I took a little bit of a nap today. Man, oh man, I was tired. If y'all saw the video from last night, y'all know I've been busting my butt this month. 72 signings. And shoot, man, I'm tired. I'm tired. And I had some stuff to do today, house inspections, and then two quick signings. And then I made an error, so I had to go get that fixed, and I'll explain that to y'all in a second. And then my man says his commission came through today, and hey, you super excited to get started. That's what I'm talking about. Um, you're gonna do fine, man. And what city are you in? What city and state you're in? I would just say city, but now I just found out they got Portsmouth. Like I don't live in Portsmouth, Virginia, but you got all these different Portsmouth. So at least what state you live in? You don't got to give the city and stuff, but what state you live in and stuff. And yeah, and that's why I did the video last night, and I was tired when I did that, but I just wanted to do it. She's in Richmond, Baltimore. Okay, you're in Indianapolis, yeah, and anybody else in there, yeah. Put your cities in there that helps me to understand where y'all coming from and stuff. And while we're doing this would be a good time. So Yeah, yeah. So yeah, just I'm glad you put that question in there, Barbara. I'll be honest, I have no script. I don't know what I'm talking about tonight. I just woke up and I was getting ready to hop on here and do some other stuff, and I said, let me just do a quick live because I didn't get a chance to do it yesterday. Yesterday was just wild. This past 2 weeks have been wild. Raleigh, North Carolina. So we got Michigan in the house. We got my man from Indianapolis, Indiana. Um, we got Baltimore, Maryland. We got Richmond, Virginia. We got Mississippi. We got my man Ben Briggs. Well, I'll be seeing you tomorrow night, man, in the members only meeting from North Carolina. We got LOL in the house. We got Chicago in the house. We got Boston. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, got Mississippi. Yeah, and I'm from Virginia. So we got a good little representation of people from a little bit of everywhere, and that's excellent. That's excellent. And again, like I keep forgetting to ask y'all to do this. This is YouTube. This is a YouTube thing. Okay. YouTube want people to like share because they want to know that you're not a bot. And me and Q talked about this one time on the channel that there are a lot of people, YouTubers, whether notary YouTubers or non-notary YouTubers, they pay to get views and likes and all of that, or at least the views, because the views turn into money for them, those that are monetized. So YouTube wants to make sure that if they're monetizing something, or the person getting paid, they're getting real human views and not bots. So they got these things where they can go pay a subscription, and they'll, they'll have bots come in and watch the channel, or at least pretend like they're watching the channel so they can run their numbers up, which then makes it look like their content is popular. And you can easily figure, some of this you can figure out because you look at their site and you look at the content of what they're talking about, and you'll see 2,000 views. And when you look at the content and what they're really saying, it's like, how did they get those views? And just so y'all could understand that, especially for those of you who get sometimes you get stuff just popping up into your feed, that like videos that just pop up all of a sudden. Um, if you look at a video for 3 seconds, 3 seconds is counted as a view. So for a lot of people, their viewership, the duration of people looking at their video is real small. However, their they get a lot of views, but when they look at the analytics, how much time people spent looking at the video is way down. And if you look at a video for like 3 seconds, sometimes it flows between 3 and 5 seconds. That's counted as a view. So that's why sometimes YouTube will force and push out certain things to you. And the next thing you know, you're like, who's this? I don't want to look at this video. But by the time you click, I don't want to look at it or cancel or whatever, it's counted as a view. That's how it's done. So just so y'all can know, it's like sometimes I know y'all look at these and like, what are they talking about? What makes them so popular? That's how, because they get those view numbers up, 2,000 views in 3 hours, or 2,000, 6,000 views in 4 days. And you're like, well, okay, well, everybody must be looking at this. And then you hop on there and you just helping what they want, especially if you don't have YouTube Premium, which means then you have to see the ad first. And that really helps them make money. And that's cool, but I don't operate that way. So that's the only reason why I asked y'all to hit the like button, share, comment, because that's how YouTube knows that, oh, okay, people really like this content, so we'll share it. So I like my stuff done organically and all of that. So we got Arizona in the house. Yeah, I thought okay, there we go. Buckley, Arizona. We know where she's from. She's up there in the Philly, Delaware area. Good to see you there, lady. And drinking my tea. I'm drinking the type of tea because I've been ripping and running. You got to sometimes detox and cleanse your body. So I'm drinking that tea that makes you got to stay close to home. Okay. You don't want to be out in the streets running around after drinking that tea. Might not find a place. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. If you pay a fee, and don't have to get any ads. And what happens is, if if the channel's monetized, mine's monetized, um, a lot of people don't understand that YouTube I mean, when I say small percent, I'm talking about it's like, that's why what they do is, and here's just, I know this is one thing what I will talk about, but here's what the deal is. For every 1,000 views, an advertiser will pay X amount of dollars toward a video. So now, if y'all look at my videos, I don't get thousands of views. If I get 300 views on a video, I'm like, all right, cool. So if you have a advertiser that says we'll pay, say, thousand, let's just say $25 for every thousand views that happens on your video, but you're only getting 200 views, you ain't really making that much. That's why they got to get those numbers up. That's why they want the views. So if they can get 1,000 views, this, that, and the other, 2,000 views, then they're making some money. What's going on, Akita? Yep, see you tomorrow night. Ben, just like you said, Ben Hill said, looking forward to it. Akita out there in California, strong supporter. Greatly appreciate her. Greatly appreciate her. Um, so that's what's going on. That's why you get stuff forced to you and all of that. And YouTube is catching on, or I would say people have complained about it who don't use those bots, and YouTube is trying to counteract it. And plus, YouTube don't like the fact that people are using bots and having their advertisers pay money out to something that's not organic and stuff. So, as the other person, gonna forgot the name. Where is she at? Where is she at? Yeah, Barbara was saying earlier that I'm busy here in Virginia. Well, it all depends. I'm busy because of the real estate market. The I guess you could say the way the real estate market is going here versus someplace else. So something I wasn't even thinking about this until she asked that question. Let me show y'all this real quick. And here's a way, and it can be a little confusing what I'm getting ready to show you. You got to sort of, if you look at the gentleman's channel, you'll learn how to follow along. And it's not too many people's channel that I'm a paid member on, and this person is. And let me show y'all something real quick too, just so y'all can see what I was talking about. Let's see if I can zoom this in a little bit. So as you see here, these are different videos that I have up. And what this column here is saying over here is saying that if 1,000 people looked at my video, this video here, my video on Fritter Friday Oath and Affirmations. Like so far, I said I made $6.10. So it's getting like 1%. That's just like viewership. So $6.10, 309 playbacks. So it's a 3% of the total, whatever. I guess for the month. And did this for February. So if 1,000 people looked at this, if this got 1,000 views, I will make that amount there, $35. If this video got 1,000 views, I will make $77. I don't get that. I mean, I got what 380, 384. This here 546. So if I mean 63. So if I was to get that many views, then that's how YouTube people make their money if they can get thousands upon thousands of views. But they try to get it in a short amount of time, like within 30 days versus a year. So you get 1,000 views in a year. Yeah, you may make that money, but it's not all at once. So just wanted to show y'all that real quick. All right. So this here, I'm gonna drop this in the chat real quick, and then we're gonna go through this real quick, show y'all so y'all can see what this here is all about. And I need to pull this up. Let me find his YouTube channel. This is completely off the cuff. Mm, Drop him his site into the chat. So let me pull my man back over. So this gentleman here, Nick, from Reventure Consulting, he had he developed that website. It's free right now, so you sign up. I don't get paid for that. I don't get no kickback or anything. I'm a paid member. You can see subscribe. I'm a paid member to his channel. One of the only channel, I think probably the only channel that I actually have a paid membership to. Check out. Okay, get to that question real quick. Like, um, Yeah, they track everything. YouTube tracks everything. They track the initial views, and then they go back and check when people go back and look at it again. And they even have a way of being careful. Like, say you look at a video that gets posted, and then you go back like 2 hours later and look at it again. That might not get counted as another view. So, and they because they tracking everything you do. Now, if you come to it from a different device, it might. And this is another thing that they do. They will have their family members get on YouTube, and they will have them look at their channel from different browsers. So they will have them look at it, even if you don't subscribe, log in. So let's say you open up um, Chrome, Firefox, Apple, and then you do it on your tablet, all of these different mediums, and you could literally play a video on multiple different browsers, and you don't even have to log in because you'll still get counted as a view because somebody watched it and everything. Then if you got multiple YouTube accounts, and they'll have their family members, they'll have Man and TT have a YouTube account, and Man and TT will be sitting up there just playing the video in the background. They'll play it in the background, and all of that gets counted as views on their on all of their different devices, their watch, their Apple Watch, Google Watch, all of that. So you could say probably 15, 20 views that is happening on that channel or that video is coming from them and their family members. And it looks good. It looks like, oh, okay, wow. And and they get grandma log on YouTube and just turn it on, turn the volume down, and go on back there cooking. That's what they do. I'm just telling you, that's the game. So he has a lot of good insight on, and like you said, raw truth with real data about the housing market crash, about what's going on, the numbers. He's been spot on with it. Talks about everything, the collapse, the pivot, the price drop, all of that. He talks about the different areas. I mean, he really goes into it. So if you have, even if you just signed up and paid for his membership for just a month, I'm telling you, you get a lot of good, valuable information. So he has this website called reventureconsulting.app. And just so you could get an idea of the data that he has on here. Now, this is free right now, but he actually helps you to see what the data is that's going on in different areas. So I'm gonna pick my area of Virginia Beach and everything. Um, so what this means, so like I wish I might have to zoom in a little bit more. All right. So, and hopefully I'm saying this right because he does a much better job explaining. But like this here is saying, and let me hold on, let me do something real quick. All right, let me pull something up. I just want to make sure I got my numbers right. Hold on one second, y'all. Mm, okay, okay. Oh, hold on. 73 times. Okay, perfect, perfect, perfect. All right, I just want to make sure I got it right. So let me pull this here so y'all can understand. Okay, this is I'm just now this what it says here. The value income ratio, home value 314,508. The median income in Virginia Beach is 75,193. What that means is you got to make 4.1 times more. The house price is 4.1 times more than your median household income. So when I did the numbers, 75.193 times 4.18 came out to 314, 306. So somewhere I might have did a little something different wrong. But basically, it's saying the house prices is that much higher than the actual that's how much the house prices is over your median income. The higher that 4.1, the higher that number is, that what starts making it unaffordable for people to buy a home. So if you got a thing where if it's like 6 or 8 or 10, so let's just say that 75 193 times, let's just say times 7. That means that means the house value is going to be 526,351. That's high. And if the people aren't making 75,000, how are they going to afford a house? So this here's how it affects us. Richmond, Virginia, 4.24. Okay. So this is the stuff that I've been learning from Reventure Consulting over the last 8 months or so. Um, Here's a little cheaper. Danville, one of Matherin spots he was looking at. If you make 46,000, the home values down there is only $130,000. So probably a little bit more affordable here. Where I've been going out in this area here um to do house closings for home builders and stuff. So then let's see. For sale inventory. So like right now, this is what they got for sale in Virginia Beach. 3,035 homes up for sale. Richmond, only 1,700. So when you start looking at different areas, let's see Buckley, Arizona. Um, oops. Let me see if I can find. Not sure if I know exactly where Buckley's at around here, but Phoenix got that amount of. They got 13,000 homes for sale. Tucson, 2,000. Sierra Vista, only 340, 287. So this is why Phoenix is one of the houses markets that's having a problem, is because look at that's a lot of inventory they got there and nobody's buying. Nobody's buying. People are holding out. So this is a very good site to go to sort of look at to sort of look at oh that's right, I forgot to log in. I ain't gonna worry about it. I'll log in later. So that's the that site. If you can go on there, create you an account, check it out, and all that good stuff. But that is why the market is so wild, because in some areas there's a whole lot of inventory, but nobody's buying. And people are like, oh, yeah, there's a lot of houses. Okay, yeah, there's a lot of houses. But if the prices are way up here and the interest rate is way up here, the people are like, I ain't buying. And then the homeowners are like, we're not cutting our prices. The home buyers are like, we're not gonna pay more. Then you got a stalemate. That's what's happening. You got a stalemate. So let's go to some of these questions. Just a quick question. I've been getting alerts on debt settlements from SnapDots. Have you done a video that touches on notarizing debt settlements that I can go back and watch? Yes, I did a video on that. Yeah, I did a video. Um, so let me see here. All right. So looking here. So if you get on YouTube and you search Griffin Notary and the title and the item that you're looking for, debt settlement, boom. So that's business debt. But these 3 videos here, I talk about it. So that's from 2 years ago. This is a real good one out, man. It was cold that day. Cold. I was eating a banana. So this talks about loan mods, partial, debt settlements. I just break it down what they're all about. This is talks about when they're trying to camouflage debt settlements, and the reason why they're camouflaging them to try to quote unquote trick you into doing them is because there are a lot of notaries out there that have talked negative about them and put them down so notaries won't do them, and they need these done. And in this first video, I go over what debt settlements are and how they're helping people out. And real quick, debt settlement is basically somebody is in a lot of debt and they need, and then this one talks about debt settlement and E&O insurance. So debt settlements are there to help somebody who is over their head in debt and they need help. And if they don't get this help for this consumer debt, not housing debt, consumer debt, then they can lose everything. They have to file bankruptcy and all of that. Loan mods is for people who are behind on their mortgage and they're trying to modify their loan so they don't lose their home. So debt settlements keep people from filing bankruptcy. Loan mods keep people from going into foreclosure. Now, you and I'm just saying this out here. This is to the people who keep saying notaries shouldn't do them. Now, if you don't want to do them, you don't have to do them. And the only reason why you may not want to do them, depending on the company and what the company may ask you to do in your commission of doing it while you're executing it. Some of the companies, they put you through a lot. They make it very complicated. And yes, some of them could could possibly be predatory, but you don't know that until you get in there and start doing it. And you're like, I don't like the flow of this, dot, dot, dot. And then you don't have to do it. But the purpose of doing them is to stop people from losing what they got and going into bankruptcy. So that's the whole point. I forgot the point I was getting ready to make just then. But the whole thing is the debt settlements, that's the whole point of them. The loan mods, trying to keep you from going into foreclosure. And I would say you try it, you see whether you like it or not. Um, these companies are it's it's up to that person. And I've had debt settlements where the person said, I ain't doing it. They looked at the terms and conditions and they didn't like it. They didn't like the terms and conditions. Are some of the terms and conditions questionable? Yes. And here's my answer to that. And this is my thing back to the people who say don't do them. You don't know what these people going through. And a person going to debt settlement that might need that, they've done things recklessly with their money. So in other words, they put themselves in a position to have to need this service. Ain't got nothing to do with me, ain't got nothing to do with you. But they put themselves in that position to where they need financial help. Same thing with a loan mod. Now, the loan mod, that person could have lost their job. And even with the debt, some they could have lost their job and everything them piled on, and they're trying to keep from losing what they have. So there's a possibility that this is their last hope. I look at it from the standpoint, I'll do them if it fits into if it fits into my schedule. But if it doesn't, because a lot of times I'm so busy right now, I can't do them. And a lot of times I leave them out there for other notaries to do them so that they can get some experience in just going out here doing them. So, so these three videos, you go Griffin Notary Debt Settlement, you'll see those three videos that I did. And I don't think I got any more. It might be some more out there and stuff. So hopefully that answered your question. But you can go watch those videos, just Griffin Notary Debt Settlement. It says I like your off the cuff chatting you do. It's like the other day telling us what you saw and experienced. Yeah, I just try to be as real. I don't look at a lot of other YouTube channels for notary stuff because they're pretty much saying the same thing. Hey, buy my thing, buy my thing. But I look at what they're not telling you, and then I really listen to what you're asking. When people call me or email me, text me, or comment, And that's what I try to answer. I try to answer those questions because there's questions that you have to help you to understand whether you can or cannot do this business or should or should not. And those are the questions that you need answered. And after spending money and buying courses and all of this stuff and being in these secret rooms and groups and stuff, you still don't have questions answered and stuff. So what else we got here? Okay, so she said thanks. So yeah. So with the real estate market, it's all about location, location, location. So if you're in a location where um things ain't popping, of course you got to figure a way to make things pop for you. That's where the general notary work comes in. That's where doing probably those loan mods, those debt settlements, because think about it. If you're in an area where people are having some serious financial hardship, they need debt settlements, they need loan mods done for themselves so they can stay in their house so they don't have to file bankruptcy. You can make money doing that. Now, of course, the fees for those are like 50, sometimes maybe $100. They're not that much. And that's one of the things we're going to go over in our the members only training tomorrow night is loan mods and debt settlements, and we're going to cover that. So and for those of you who aren't YouTube channel members, and this is not me trying to force anybody to do anything. This is just something that several people came to me about a year ago, over a year, and asked me to do so we can do some one-on-one type training and some small groups and help them out. So if you click on the join button, you can join the channel membership and everything, and got different levels here. Don't worry about doing the level 2 because I've been trying to get people to get off of that so I can save people money, but some people still pay for that. But you do the $3.99, you're good to go. And maybe I need to update this video too and all of that. And you can hang in there for a month or however long you want and look at the videos. There's private videos that I do and all that good stuff. But that's one of the things we're gonna go over is loan mods. They're real simple to do. Normally you have 2 notarizations, maybe 3 at the most, and you're good. That's it. And you can be in and out in 10 minutes, make 50, 60, $75. Loan mods are a lot more. It's nothing. The reason why people say don't do loan mods is not because they're difficult or they're shady, because they're not difficult, they're not shady. They just don't pay a whole lot to them. But for the time and effort to do them of 10, 15 minutes to make $50. Now, true, you might have to drive a little bit to get to them because they might be in a rural area, which is okay, but that's fine because you get 62.5 cents per mile tax deduction. You get what I'm saying? 62 cents per mile tax deduction. So going there and back, you making money or getting a tax deduction that you can apply. Plus, you get the tax deduction of your notary stamp. Like in Virginia, our max fee that we can charge for a notary stamp is $5. So we get $5 off per notary stamp we do. So so that means, so just looking at it from a dollar standpoint, real quick. So if you got $50 and then you got 3 stamps, so that's, for me, that's minus 15. So what that means is only $35 of that is subject to self-employment tax. Only $35 of the 15 of the 50 is subject to self-employment tax. And I did a video, and I have to find it. But I did a video breaking that down and everything about how you save money with that. My accountant, Rob, he talks about that. You can save. So when you stamp, you do this. So you're getting a tax deduction of 62.5 cents. Then 15 in Virginia, $15 of that is exempt from self-employment tax. You still report it. You report the 50, but only 35 gets hit with self-employment tax. But then the tax deduction of 62.5 cents per mile. So let's just say you had to, so we'll just round it up to 63. So 0.63 times, we'll just say round trip of 35 miles. So that's $22 in tax deductions. So that means you get to exempt $22.50 of the money that you made from tax deduction. So that 35 minus $22. So now you're talking about only $13 being taxable. Okay. So the tax exempt meaning, or tax deduction meaning, you, this money, because it's a business expense, you deduct that amount of money from your revenue to be taxed. Okay. Oh, let me say, I'm not a financial planner. I'm not a tax person. I have a tax person, Rob Turner. You can hit him up and he will be more than happy. Here's his information down here at the bottom for tax information for all 50 states. So this is just what the basic stuff that I know that most business owners should know about the taxes. And if you don't, that's fine. Hit Rob up and he will contact you. So all this is saying is that you got $50 for for this job. And so in Virginia, $15 of it, because it's say 3 notarizations, is exempt from tax, self-employment tax. Then you got $22 of tax deductions in mileage. Okay, in mileage. So you take, for that job, you take another $22 off, you're left with only $13 that's taxable. Now, if I'm wrong, please correct me. And I've talked to Rob about this, and he said, no, that is right. So you take that over the course of a year of your tax deductions, the exempt stamps that you have, plus the tax deductions of all your business expenses that you have. Boom. And the way taxes work in a business is the money you bring in minus your expenses gives you what you pay taxes on. So if you brought in 85,000, you got 62,000 or 65, let's say 65,000 in expenses. That means it's $20,000 of money that needs to be taxed. So you're not being taxed on the whole 85,000, you're being taxed on the 20,000 that's left over after your expenses. You see how that works? Okay. So that's why I don't have a problem driving. I'm paying probably about $1,000 a month in because I use a rental car. So I'm looking at $1,000 a month. So let's just say I take 80% of that, which would be 800 times 12. So you're talking about 9,600. So there's a fee of 9,600 that I get to deduct off of my taxes because that car is being used 80% of the time for business purposes. So I deduct 80% of my total annual cost, 9,600. Excuse me. Then you're talking about, I'm probably doing about 2,000 miles a month times 2,000. You're talking about, you know, 1,200, $1,260 a month in driving money in mileage. So that times 12. So you're talking about that 15,000 to 120 in tax deductions for mileage, my business miles driving, plus the 9,600 in um car expense. So that's 24,720 in tax deduction, business related tax expenses that gets deducted. And that's not even counting the paper, the ink, and all of that. So just on the mileage and my rental car expense. So you get where you see where this is going. So this is what you need to be mindful of. Okay. This is what people don't understand about doing the business side of it. So, and there's videos out there of me and Rob talking in my playlist called business interviews. So you go in there, you can give Rob a call, information right there. He'll have a free consultation from you and all of that good stuff. So any other questions? I mean, any other questions? So the bottom line is the real estate market is popping where I'm at this moment. This month I did excellent. Um, Highest number of closings that I've done, 70 something, 72. Almost broke my record of dollars. I still got some months. I still got a couple of days left, so I could pull something out of the hat on Monday and Tuesday of so I get what Monday and Tuesday the 27, 28. I'm pretty sure I might pick up one or two extra signings on those days. Like I picked up one last night that I made an error on, and I'll tell y'all about that real quick. So a lot of times when it comes to making errors, it's the reason why I make errors is not because I don't know what I'm doing. It's because I get off focus. Get off focus and not be paying attention. Could be because stuff that's going on in a person's house. Excuse me. Tired. Like last night, it was tired. So I was tired, and I wasn't really. I was just going off of instinct rather than really looking the documents over. I looked them over. I had to look them over because it was a split signing. So I looked them over a little more carefully, but I missed one spot in the middle of the form that the lady had to sign. It was a two-page form. Her signature page was on the second side. So therefore, I didn't even think too much about looking deep on the first page because normally, like if all the signatures would have been on the first page, I probably would have picked it up. I made sure she signed it on the second page. I saw that she did. I was like, we good to go. But on the first page, right after she filled out all of her bank account information, just above it was an area for her to initial. And that's something that is new that I've only seen a few times, and it just didn't click in my head because I'm not used to seeing that for me to, oh, okay, let me look at that or double check to make sure that's done. So did the scan back. The company said, hey, they now the only problem I had was that they was like, hey, Rick, here, we can get the scan back done. I get the scan back done. I actually had my scanner in the house with them. First time I've ever done that, scanned at the table, but it was only 34 pages. So I was like, hit that, scanned it, uploaded. But it took them like 3 hours to review and tell me that there was an error. Had they like looked through and told me right away, I could have turned right back around and got that done last night. But I did her stuff like at 7:30, 7:45. I didn't hear from them until 11 at night, East Coast time, that, oh, there's an error. And I'm like, and I was like, I'm about to go to bed. And I emailed them back real quick and was like, look, I hit them up in the morning, because it's too late to call or text, and I had to make sure they knew that it's late, it's 11 o'clock at night. I'm not calling and texting somebody 11 o'clock at night about in there. I'll deal with it tomorrow morning. Got up, sent the young lady a text message letting her know what happened, that I missed her initialing something. It wasn't her fault. It was on me. And let me know, do you want me to come now or like at 12:30? And by the time she responded back, I was already on my way to do another thing. So I told her I'll be there at 12:30. I was there at 12:25, got it done, sent the scan back to the company. They said everything's good to go, did all of that, and shipped the documents off. Boom. So yes, even I can make mistakes. My goal is I don't want you making mistakes because you don't know. Now, there are times where you may not know something, and then that's where you ask questions, but you just hopping out here and you just flat out don't know anything, don't know what to do. You know how to market, you know how to brag, you know how to do social media, Canva posts, all of that stuff. You know how to get the business, but you don't know how to do the business of notarization. And that becomes a problem. And that's how you get blacklisted. That's how you get in trouble because you don't know how to do your part. And then if you do make a mistake, you kick and scream and fuss about um doing the going back and making the corrections. Don't don't try to just, it's like, okay, I made a mistake. You go back, get it fixed, and get done. And that's all I did. Now Whether they want to annotate it and make notes like he made this mistake, that's on them. I can't control that. All I can control is what I do. And if I do make a mistake, and more than likely it's because I got distracted or focused for whatever reason, people fussing, you can be at the table and the and the and the husband and wife or spouses, they're fussing with each other, they're yelling at the kids acting crazy. I've been in a house where a lady, we had 220 some pages to do. She was doing, and at the time they asked me to come over, she was in the middle of homeschooling and feeding the kids lunch. And she had 3 kids, being she was homeschooling and trying to feed them lunch. And the husband just sat there and didn't do nothing. And I didn't make any mistakes on that one. I was completely focused. But that irritates me when I see a spouse, especially a man, sitting there and not helping their wife out. And he was more concerned about making her stop what she was doing to sign than why don't you. Wow. And I said, what I ended up doing, said, okay, let's me and you just sign, ma'am. You go do what you got to do. And me and him sign because I had to really get him out of the way. And I had him sign everything. And then I went back with her after she got the kids settled. And then me and her sat down and got through her part. And that took a lot of stress because I could see her getting stressed. And I'm sitting here looking at him. I'm like, dude, why don't you help? And he wouldn't do anything. So I had to make it better by saying, ma'am, you go do all what you got to do with them, feed all of them, make sure they doing their homework, whatever, or their schoolwork, and I'll let you know when we done it. Then you can sit down here and get your part done. That made things easier. Went through with him. Then now once I was done with him, he got up off the table and walked away. Now whether he did anything for the kids, they helped them out, watched them, whatever, I don't know. But then I got her down. She was focused. We got through it and we was done. You see what I'm saying? I've even had a situation where the wife needed to sign on the deed, but she was just in some kind of funky mood. And she was like, I don't feel like signing nothing. Why are you calling? And she's upstairs in the house and he had to go like, get your butt down here. I need you to sign these papers. And she had, and when I saw that, I saw she was in this little funky mood and he wasn't, and he was trying to be polite in front of me. So what I did was on one of the papers, it was the document that they was filling out the bank account information to get the money, the refund back, cash out or whatever it was. And it wasn't that many pages that of that loan document. It was like maybe 120 some. I remember that one. So what I did was I flipped through the pages real quick. I had already noticed that she didn't have but a little bit to sign. So I flipped through the document, grabbed everything that she had to sign, pulled it out and said, here you go, ma'am. You just need to sign those. Got her to sign all of that and done. The guy realized what I was doing. And when she left, he was like, thank you, man. I said, no problem. I got you back. Put everything back in and we got done with that. This is the kind of stuff that you got to pay attention to. No questions. Nobody don't got any other questions. We got a good little bit of people in here, 20 some people. Appreciate the likes and everything. Thank you for hitting the likes and all of that. Any other questions? I know I'm just sort of going on, but any questions? I'm serious. Throw questions in there about anything notary that you got, stuff for your business, anything. Just I don't have a problem answering. Thank you for the likes and all of that. Hopefully, and I've been doing put some more stuff up on groundwork, so hopefully the groundworks videos been good and helpful for y'all and stuff. So good information. I'm soaking it up. All right, good. So here's my take on the real estate market or what we need to be doing. Um, and this is my ultimate goal. Okay. What I want to see happen is that you as a notary know how to do your job so that when the market shifts and changes, that if you get the opportunity to get called, you'll be able to perform and do what you need to do, which is notarize the documents correctly, or not so much the documents, but notarize the signature and fill out, let's call it filling out the notarial certificate correctly. That's the best way to do that. Make sure. All right. And okay, cool. And one of the things also, let me say this while it's on my mind. One of the things that you'll notice, some of the companies, when it comes to getting paid, and this also is from a man, the healthy way. Hope he's still in here. The healthy crew. This is one of the things you got to keep in mind when it comes to getting paid. Some of these companies like to send you checks at 9. They will send you a check at 9:10 in the evening on a Saturday. Sometimes that's because that just might be the day that they send checks out, or they want to just make sure that if they send it to you during normal business hours, you're gonna drop that bad boy in there and cash it. And they might need some time for money to clear on their end. So they got paid, they got to cut these checks, and then next thing you know, you get the check notification through what is that? Through deluxe, deluxe check system. And you're like, okay, why are they sending this out at 9 o'clock at night? I've gotten checks at 3 in the morning on a Saturday. It's like, or Friday after 7 p.m., where all the banks close and all of the mobile deposit has cut off. They send those things out 7:01. It's like, okay, well, my mobile deposit cut off at 7, so I can't deposit it for it to be credited to my account the next day. So some of the companies will do that. They will do that. So keep that in mind, um, and everything. Um, what marketing do I do? You're part time and would rather do Ron because you got a 5-year-old. You're in New York. Um, I'm just after 5 years of being in this business, I'm really just now starting to market. When I got in this business, it was at a time that I was able to just go for it, and there wasn't a whole lot of marketing because I do a lot of majority of my work comes through signing companies. I do have direct clients. Over the last maybe 18 months or less, I started getting more direct clients. And it's just sort of been by happenstance. Not so much because I directly marketed to anybody, it just sort of fell that way. Somebody knew of me, decided to give me a chance. Somebody told them, say, hey, give Griff a call, especially on Ron. Somebody was getting a phone call about doing Ron. That guy, he called me up and said, hey, Griff, they keep asking me about Ron. I don't do it. I keep telling them to call you, but they won't call you. So he went and got us on three-way phone call, and I got to talking to them, and I've been doing Ron for them for over a year now. And I'm happy with them. They're happy with me, and we get along really, really, really well. For as the replay, it depends on what we talk about. Um, the reason why is because I leave it sort of open for us to talk about stuff. And if people could this, I try to make it a safe place. And if I have to do another one, Pamela, I don't have a problem doing that. But I record the sessions, and just being honest with you, because you know, you get people in there that just want to spy and peek and creep and all of that. And I just want to make sure that everybody's protected because if you it's my Zooms are sort of like Notaries Anonymous that Q does. You can talk about whatever you want. I don't look at trying, don't, I tell people don't come in trying to promote other people's products, because a lot of folk come in and they got affiliate links. So they're trying to get you to like, hey, click on this and you can, check it. I don't come in trying to sell stuff. Okay. Don't come in trying to sell people stuff and all of that. Um, so I allow people to share their feelings and express themselves in a safe place. I can edit that kind of stuff out if I need to and all of that. So, but at the same time, I really like interacting with people. So if I need to do another one with you, I have no problem because I know I don't have a problem running my mouth. So I don't have a problem doing another session to where if you missed it, make sure you get covered and all of that kind of stuff. It says, okay, I'm gonna get to yours in a sex mini, minix made. So the marketing that I'm doing now is Google My Business or Google Business Pay, whatever they call it. Um, I'm doing that. I'm doing Thumbtack, and honestly, that's pretty much it. I mean, I'm not the big marketing person. There are people who are just like they're calling and emailing and hitting um people up all day, every day. That's just never been me. And I'm not saying that it doesn't work, and it could. And I will be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. I've gone to some title offices in my area because it depends on the area you live in. And I've gone to some title offices and they've looked at me like, what do you want? And I'm like, I'm Stephen Griffin, I'm a notary, and just wanted to find out about, doing loan closings for you or sorry about that, about making myself more available to you. And a lot of times they tell me, they say, oh, we got people, we don't need you. I mean, they're very blunt. They're like, we don't need you. I've had people just straight up tell me, we don't need you because we got our own notaries in here. Or we don't use notaries just coming off the street. We go through the signing companies. So make sure you with the signing companies and we might choose you, or whatever the case may be. That's what I've been told. Some of them have looked at me like, because I'm a man, because I'm older, beard and all of that. Sometimes they looked at me like, nah, we good. So I haven't gotten a lot of opportunities with me directly going in there. However, after I've gotten picked up through a signing company and I've worked with that company, via them because they see my stamp, they see my name, and they might remember me. Then let's say something comes up and they need something done, and they're like, hey, give that guy a call because they see that I do good work. Then I can get in there with them directly. You see what I'm saying? Now, the other question is that I always tell people when you're talking about working direct, getting direct marketing, with a company, are you looking at working in their office or just want to get called from them directly without going through a signing company? Because I don't want to be inside the office. I like being out free. I like hanging out with my wife when she's not in class doing stuff. I like doing my house inspections and other things that I got going on. Um, so I have other responsibilities, and being in an office environment will lock me down too much, and I would not be happy. Okay. However, it doesn't mean that because you're working direct that they're going to automatically pay you more. There have been times that I've looked on the settlement statement, which I don't do a whole lot, but there have been times where I've looked on it and I see where it says, here's the signing company that hired me, ex ABC signing company. I'm not going to tell y'all their names. And and the reason why I don't say the signing company's name per se is because I found out from somebody else, from an actual signing company person and some other notaries, that when they've said names of certain signing companies, they talk about, yeah, I get these type of orders from this company. Then you have all these notaries calling that signing company, bombarding them saying, hey, I heard you got these kind of orders. Can I get one? Can I get one? And that can reflect back bad on me because they're like, well, where did you hear this from? Oh, yeah, this guy on YouTube was saying, and they'll make it seem like I told them to call. So that's when I get a little protective about who I'm working with, is because there's some notaries out there that can't be trusted and they're doing some foul things and they're going out there demanding like, you need to pay me, you need to give me this order. I heard you was doing reverse mortgages and I need to make some money and all of that, you know. So I will see on the settlement statement sometimes that it will say ABC signing company is getting $150. Now, at that point, the question becomes, what percentage of that am I getting? If I'm getting 50% of it or more, in my opinion, what is there for me to complain about? And I'm gonna get on your wrong part in a second. What is that for me to complain about? Because, you know, just because you're direct doesn't mean that they have the money to pay you more. Because if their price point is less, you know what I'm saying? Hold on. I think if their price point is less, then here it is. Hold on, I just want to show y'all this. So if you type in Notary Griffin Notary Direct, there's a video that I have here talking about negotiating fees. And then there's this one where I said I did my first for direct client, and I was talking about that and everything. So I got those videos. I got those videos up there talking about that. Yeah, yeah. So talking about those fees and stuff and negotiating with them. But you might not get any more than what you was getting with a signing company. There's no guarantee, and it all depends on the area that you're in. Now, for Ron, marketing for Ron is a little bit different. You have to with Ron, as I've always said, with Ron, three entities got to be a part of Ron. They have to be willing to accept a Ron signed document. The title company, the lender, and the courthouse or the city or the county where it's going to be recorded. If if the title company, settlement company says we don't do Ron, it ain't happening. If the title company says we don't do Ron, it ain't happening. If the city or county doesn't accept Ron signed documents, it ain't happening. In other words, if any one of those three entities says no, it ain't happening. So you're left with doing Ron via these other platforms that have these call center type things, which puts you in a W2-ish type mentality, where you're sitting there just waiting for a call. How you doing? Welcome to such and such. Okay, click, click. And then they give you a little change off of what you're making, of what you've done. Um, I don't want to be in a call center type situation. I don't want to be in a situation where it feels like I am back at a W-2. I really don't, where I'm working shifts and stuff, I don't want to do that. Now if I have to, I will, but I try to stay as far away from that as possible. Um, it might be a good place to start. I did sign up on Notarize. I just never got going with them. And I don't know. It was just and it's just me. I just didn't want to be in that type of environment. It just felt too much like a W-2. And I didn't feel that I had the freedom to do and work the way I wanted to work my business. Because again, this is my business. I'm here. I'm trying to, not trying, I'm being an entrepreneur. And for me, anything that pulls me back into the mindset or the realm of W-2 ism, I don't want to be a part of unless I absolutely have to. It's hard enough as an entrepreneur right now in the notary world where people try to treat us as if we are, like we have to always answer to them. Like, there's some signing companies that don't respect us as business owners. They'll call us out, like they'll call us their notaries, which technically we're not because we're not your employee. You, Mr. Signing Company, Miss Signing Company, have an agreement with me, Griffin Notary Services. Your business and my business are agreeing to work together to get something done for somebody. And in this case, for the title company, escrow, and lenders, and all of them. That's who you agreed to get a notary for them. I agreed to do the work that is being passed through you to me. So technically, I'm really not your notary because you don't have to pick me and I don't have to do the work for you. And this isn't me trying to be mean or stir up something or trying to do some kind of revolt. But if you look at it from a legal standpoint, from a 1099 perspective, if you go and search 1099 versus W-2 on YouTube and in my community tab, and I think even publicly I put on my channel community tab, there's videos out there that says if you're a 1099, you have to operate a certain way, and employers, a business, say a signing company, they can't sit there and treat you a certain way because then you might be deemed as, sorry about that, you might be deemed as a employee, which means then your money is taxed different. Okay, because remember, as an employee, it's you get paid, they take taxes, you have the rest. As a business, you get paid, you do deductions, and then you get taxed on the rest. They're taxing you up front as a employee, they taxing you on the back end as a business owner. I want to be taxed on the back end after taking advantage of my deductions that I'm allowed to have as a business. So it's very important that you be mindful of aligning yourself and saying, I'm a part of this company. Are you really? Legally? Okay, this ain't got nothing to do with, hey, we're just trying to get the job done and patting you on the back. And no, do your job. You don't have to be worried about being petted up to be considered like, and I'm not, you have to be careful about when you say you're an extension of these other companies when you're not an employee of them, and when your agreement, your legal, and Q talks about that a lot, when your legal agreement with them, that terms of service does not say you're an extension, and you have, it's like, okay, to what degree am I an extension? And if I'm an extension, does that extensionism puts me in a position of an employee? Because if I'm an employee, then there's certain benefits that come from an employee. It comes that an employee gets that an independent contractor doesn't. So that's the legal side of it. So you have to be careful. And that's why I'm a little leery about doing the Ron in certain cases because I want to be completely independent. I know that was a long-winded question about the marketing and stuff. But when you market, and you have to be careful because there are title companies that will say, "Oh, how about you come work for us?" Because some of them would rather pay you $15 an hour to do 5 or 6 closings per day rather than $150 per closing. Even 125 per closing, they save more money by paying you as an employee to do the same, which means what? If they can pay you, that means it's really about you being a notary, not necessarily this title of loan signing agent and notary signing agent, because most people who are W-2s that are notaries in title offices that are doing closings probably aren't NNA certified, and they probably haven't taken any of these training courses that y'all see and that you're paid for, and that I paid for only one, that you any of us have paid for. They're not going to these people. They're not going to these conferences. That's us. The social media, what's going on, Chicago? The social media thing that we got going on here is different from what the W-2 notaries who are doing closings have. And if you really think about it, these are two different worlds, two completely different worlds. They're not marketing to them. They're not marketing saying, "Hey, come to my Do you think their boss gonna go give? They're not going to a lot of them. They're not going to the NNA conference. They're not going to any of these other conferences. They're not doing none of this weekend sipping stamps and meet and greets and stamping and floss and all of that kind of stuff. I'm just different ones are sustainable. None of this kind of stuff. Conferences. They're not doing that. W-2 notaries in title offices aren't doing the stuff that we're doing. They're getting paid a lot less, but they're not doing what we're doing. So they want you to come in, they like you get along, and then they're like, we can pay you. And then that kills your business because now you're locked in from 9 to 5 with them and you can't do nothing with anybody else. Get what I'm saying? Excuse me. So I hope I answered that question. But with the Ron stuff, um, you have to be on you got to be on the right platform. if you're on the wrong platform, like Dot Verify is a platform that you can be on because they don't charge you for every time you stamp. You got to look at the fees. So if you, and understand you got a 5-year-old, super long answer to your question, I know, but some companies will charge you for every time you stamp and every signature. So then you have to say, if I have a client that wants me to do a real estate closing, how much do I have to charge them in order to make the money that I need to make? If they're charging, if I have to pay them $10 for every time I stamp, let's say your state gives you $15, say you can charge up to $15. They're taking 10 and they're leaving you with 5. How do you make $150 off of that 5? How much do you have to charge the person who's coming to you in order for you to net 150? You get what I'm saying? So your cost is going to be this. So if you charge them 150, you could quickly. Oh, that's right. Thank you. Or 65, 62. That's right. I forgot. It's the new year. So well, that means that's even more money you get to deduct. Thank you for that. I forgot that it went to 65.5 cents or rounded up to 66. IRS ain't gonna round it up, but you get what I'm saying. So that's what you have to take in account. What is your net coming is going to be after you get charged for the stamps that you have to. Some companies, wrong platforms charge per stamp. Every time you stamp, they charging you a fee. Dot Verify doesn't. You pay them a flat fee for the year or per month, and then you just get paid. You just that's all you pay, and then whatever you make, you make. So all of that, that's that's really the where the bottom line comes in at. And then you have to again find somebody who wants to accept Ron closings. And the difficult part, and I've done videos on that, is the technology side because some people are computer illiterate and they don't do very good on those things and they can mess it all up. So let's go to this next question. Sorry about, I know that was a long one. Young lady here, or young man, just are there key points or a script you use to hit when you first get calls or confirming a point when you first get to signing and call? Now I've been good all day, and then all of a sudden my throat starts acting up now. All right. I make the phone call. I make the phone call. How you doing? This is Mr. Griffin from Griffin Notary Services, looking for John Smith. I want to confirm an appointment with you for a refinance loan closing on March the 2nd at 5:30 p.m. You can go that route. A lot of times you can just shoot it all at once, or a lot of times what I end up doing is I always introduce myself. Now, one of my personal pet peeves, that tea is working. Got me drink. Sorry about that, y'all. I know YouTube probably don't clean your nose on the thing. And yes, I got hand sanitizer, so y'all can see. There you go. Because people like, did he really squirt the hand sanitizer? Yes, all down my elbows, all that kind of stuff, all on my forehead. Okay, I've been hand sanitized up, y'all. Okay, so I'm not diseased. So when I call, I'll say I always introduce myself first so they'll know who I am. My first name is Seben. A lot of people get caught up on my first name, and then they're like, "Who it is? What's it? What did you?" Say? And they list and they miss everything else. So when I call, I just say Mr. Griffin. Sometimes I'll just say Griff the Notary, or this is Griff. So sorry about all that coughing, y'all. So I'll call and I'll say, and I'll just use somebody's name here. I'll just say, you know, Brian Whiteman. So I'll call, good afternoon or good morning, and say, hello, this is Mr. Griffin from Griffin Notary Services, looking for Brian Weidman. Yep, this is him. How you doing, Mr. Weidman? Again, this is Mr. Griffin, Griffin Notary Services. Say my name twice. I'm the notary assigned to meet with you on such and such date at such and such time for your such and such type of real estate transaction. Always make sure you have the right type of real estate transaction. And I made the mistake in the beginning because I did in the beginning. I used to do so many refinances. Then a seller come and I would say refinance out of habit, and they're like, "I'm not refinancing. I'm trying to sell that thing." So you don't want people spazzing out on you. So how you doing? This is Mr. Griffin, Griffin Notary Services, looking for Mr. Weidman. How you doing, sir? Yeah, again, this is Mr. Griffin, the Griffin Notary Services. I'm the notary. And you notice what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm the loan signing agent or the notary signing agent. They don't care about that. I'm the notary assigned to meet with you for your refinance, HELOC, reverse mortgage, selling property that you're selling on such and such date at such and such time. And they're like, okay, yeah, 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 gotcha. After that, some people will go a step further and say, please make sure you have IDs, this, that, and the other. Some people will say, please make sure you make copies of the IDs, this, that, and the other. All that, that's up to you, however you want. I do the Adobe scan that, take the thing. I do it that way. Some people are opposed to doing copies of IDs. Some people don't have an issue with it. How deep you want to go, because at the same time, you also got to feel the person on the phone. If they sound like they not really engaged with you on the phone, giving them additional instructions can just confuse them, and they're not listening to you anyway. So if you listen to them and you see that they're like, huh, yeah, 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 okay, gotcha, yeah, all right, all right. Just get off the phone. Don't try to prolong it. That's the worst thing you can do. Like, ho, and then you going through this thing. Hold on, wait a minute, wait a minute. All right, I got my script here. So I need you to put your dog, cat, ferret, land crabs up. I need you to make sure all children are in the bed sleep. I need you to make sure that the house is at 72 degrees because I don't like to be too hot or too cold. I need you to make sure that your chairs have cushion on them because I lost my cushion because people have hard seats. And I need you to have a copy of your IDs, a copy of this and have that. And that, dang, some people don't have time to be going through all of that with you. I don't want to make them uncomfortable with me on the phone. If if you make them uncomfortable with you on the phone, all they got to do is call their person and say, "Hey, I don't like this notary. Can you send somebody else out?" And then you get a thing saying, "Oh, for some reason this got canceled." And I believe that has happened to me, not necessarily because I've asked them questions, because sometimes people they may not like, they know who I am when they hear my tone of voice. They can tell by the way I talk of who I am. And they're like, "Oh, can I get a different notary?" They have that right. That's on them. And I'm like, all right, peace out. Sometimes the cancellation could be legit, that it just got canceled. They're not going to tell you. They're not going to say, yeah, they weren't feeling you, or they didn't like you, or whatever the case may be. You know, sometimes they get a they get the email with a picture of you in it, and they're like, ooh, no, you ain't coming up in my house. I'm just being real with you. All right. Those kind of things do happen. Okay. So that's what I do when I call. I fill them out on the phone, and everything, and like, okay, got it. Some people are cool. I've had a few quirky calls. Some lady told me, one lady, basically told me I was dyslexic. I might have misspoke her address, and then she started like, well, what's wrong with you? Are you dyslexic or something? She said she offended me big time. I called the signing company. I ain't doing her. I ain't doing her. I still work with that signing company, but I was like, yo, I don't appreciate the way this woman came at me, calling me dyslexic and stuff, and then telling me this is during COVID. You ain't coming in my house. You're going to stand outside. I was like, whoa, whoa, you're not going to treat me that way. Okay, just like you don't need to deal with me or have to have me come in your house, I don't have to come to you. And in some rare cases, I've done that. Lately, I have not had to bow out of any closings because the signer has been disrespectful. Have not had to do that. So this here says, what would you recommend for general notary calls and how to solidify the appointment after discussing the docs? After I see after discussing the docs and what is needed, after I give them my fee, they don't book the appointment. Honestly, you just have to move on because there's some cheap folk out there. They don't understand the value of a notary. They might have gone to the library in the past. They might have a friend who did notarizations for them for $1 when they could have charged them $5 or $25 or whatever that the state allows. And now that person is no longer doing notary. They might be deceased. They might be out of the area, or they might not be living where that person in that same city where that was being done for them, or they might have been getting stuff done at their job. You used to work at a job where they would have a notary there that just did it for free, and now they don't have that, so they're like, I don't want to pay that much. And then you say, well, here's my fee. Here's my travel fee. If your state allows you to charge a travel fee, and you say, here's my travel fee or whatever, plus it's going to be this here for the notarizations. And they're like, oh, okay. And then you hear nothing from them. You can't make somebody choose you. All you can do is just state your price, this, that, and the other. Now, of course, you can be in your mind, am I am I charging too much? And that's the dilemma you have with general notary work because you honestly may not be charging too much. They just don't want to pay anything. And that's what you can be faced with. So now, if you're slapping out there for one a power of attorney saying, "Hey, I'll do a power of attorney," and it's like only two signatures, and you charging $300, yeah, they might be like, "Nah, I ain't paying $300 for this." You get what I'm saying? They're like, "Nah." But let's say if you just charge the state mandated fee. So, like for Virginia, depending on where they live at, I might charge a $20 travel fee plus $5 per stamp, which $5 per stamp is the max I can charge. And let's say there's only two stamps, so that's only $30 I'm getting for that. If I'm working directly with a resident or consumer, not a business, not through a business entity that's trying to hire me. So it's $30. They're looking at me like, hmm. They're like, they're like, I don't want to pay $30. Okay, fine. Then that means you just cheap because, well, I mean, the only other thing you can get is free. So, like yesterday, I did a signing. I mean, a general notary work. Came through Thumbtack. The person who I was with Thumbtack, you got to be quick in responding. So, if you wait to respond, you might not get too much, too many orders. You might not get selected. So I responded. They said somebody responded before me. They said, so we're going to go with them. I said, okay, cool. I said, however, if you ever need me, I didn't say if they don't come through, which technically that's what I was sort of saying. But I said, if for some reason, you just said, if you still need a notary for anything else, just let me know. About a week later, they called me up and said, hey, the notary never showed up. Can you come? I said, I got you. I was going past that way anyhow. I said, I can come on this day. They said, well, come Friday, be there at 12. I said, no problem. I got there at 11:45. I was there, sat there in the lobby. It was a medical facility, doctors. And I sat there and waited. He called me in the back. I didn't know what I was notarizing. I had no clue whatsoever. They had two documents, and neither one of the documents had any notarial language on it. So I had to add certificates. I read them. I looked them over. Not when I won't say read. I looked them over to see what kind of documents they were. I also asked them, and I asked them. I said, "Are there any affidavits?" They said, "No, there's no affidavits." And it was something about some stock stuff, some kind of stock agreement and some kind of transfer agreement, and they needed the signatures notarized. And it was just two notarizations that I was doing, even though it was three signatures. But in Virginia, we only pay for each time we stamp, not per signature. So for each notarization that was on that I did, which was only two, that was $5 a piece plus my $20 travel fee. I made 30 bucks. Guy gave me his card. I used my square. I got paid $30. He didn't tip nothing, which is fine with me. You don't have to tip me. I don't ask people to tip me. I let them decide that on their own. They just needed this done. The young lady who hired me, who reached out to me, gave me a 5-star review on Thumbtack. That's really what you give me that. That helps me out tremendously. Um, so that's what I did, and I made $30, went on about my business, did my other stuff. Now, other people might have been trying to charge them more, and they would have paid it because I mean they doctors, they got the money. They would have paid it, no questions asked. But the person didn't show up. I showed up. That's why I say the number one way to market your business is to be ready to do business. If you aren't ready to do business when you get called in to do business, then you're really not doing business. All right. So, what else we got here? Any other questions? Any other concerns? Um, but you give them your fee, you stand firm on your fee. Now, if your fee is too high, now see the question is, what are you basing your fee on? If you're basing your fee on stuff that you hear people tell you on YouTube and Instagram, especially them Instagram people, and y'all know who I'm talking about. I don't say their names in here. I don't give them no shine, but there's people out there that's telling you to charge these exorbitant high fees without justification. What's the justification in charging these fees when your state says you're here, but you're doing this? I will say this: if you are willing to stand by the higher fee that you're charging, if you get reported to the state and accused of taking advantage of consumers, because remember, there's a thing called Consumer Protection Act, and each state has one, and then there's a federal one, which means they protect the consumer from predatory people such as you, if that's the role that you're playing in. So if you're being predatory, they got federal laws, they got state and local laws to deal with your behind. Are you being predatory? If you are, you can get in some serious, serious trouble, predatory practices, and you have to be careful about that. Right. So whatever your travel fee is I don't care what people charge because I can't do anything about it. Just be mindful that you got to decide who's telling me I should charge that, and are they accurate and legit for me to charge that? That's the key. That's the key. Hey, no problem, Rob. No problem at all. My pleasure to help y'all out. And feel free to drop any questions you have in there. Thanks for hitting the like button. Appreciate that also. Um, everything. But if you feel that it's reasonable in your area, like you're saying, Natural Jesse, that's what counts. It's your goal, it's your business. You're trying to say, I want to make money. If you don't mind working that way, then you're good. I've said it many times. Y'all probably seen some of my YouTube shorts. I've done a video about people trying to get you to be fearful in this business. Predatory people make you feel bad about your stance. They make you feel bad about what you charge and what you spend. So if, let's say you charge the standard fee for notary, they're like, well, if that's all you feel your time is worth, those are tactics to make you feel bad. Because when you feel bad, you do what? You try to make yourself feel good. When you feel bad, you try to make yourself feel good. When you feel bad, you try to make yourself feel good. And they say, I have the solution to make you feel good. Oh, you feel bad, which I made you feel bad. I can help you to feel good. Don't you feel much better? And once they can get you in the mindset of trying to make yourself feel better about something that they said you're doing wrong, you haven't said you're doing this wrong. They told you you're doing it wrong. And now they're saying, I can make you feel better about what I'm telling you you're doing wrong. And then you're like, okay. And they're saying $200, $500. It costs, it costs to feel better. So, how much are you willing to pay to feel better? How much are you willing to invest in you feeling better? That's the question you got to ask yourself. And are they really going to make you feel better? Because here's the thing, if you're going to feel bad about this, ain't I'm going to make you feel better. But are you going to feel any better after you paid them the fee that they told you to pay them to feel better? That's the question. And when I look at what some people charge in order for me to feel better, no, you ain't getting me to pay that. Will me will me paying that fee cause some dissension in my household because I paid you money that I shouldn't be paying you, and now I can't pay my bills? Now I got to go talk to my spouse. Now I got to tell the kids, you can't go on that trip. You can't go to that contest. You can't go on that whatever, that field trip that you thought you was going on. Or you can go, but you're going to have a bag lunch and you can't eat at the restaurant like everybody else. That's do you realize how embarrassing that is for a kid? They go on a field trip. The kid's supposed to have money. They're gonna eat at this nice little restaurant and get their little food that they want and their little ice cream and stuff, and you giving them a bag lunch. Because mama and them, daddy and them done spend all their money trying to feel better. You trying to feel better, and now your kid feeling terrible. So is you feeling better going to make your family feel worse? That can preach. Will you feeling better by spending money to do what they told you that you're not doing? Will that make you feel better at the expense of making your family feel bad? That's the sink in moment. I had to let that sink in. you ma- mm, that right there. That's the question. Is what you're doing to feel better as a business, as owner, as an entrepreneur, making your family feel worse? If it is, then you got to question yourself. It's like, is it because is this just temporary, or is this because that's a problem? That's a problem. It will, is who say it will make me not to teach. That's the question to teach others. Yeah. Um, because I mean, man, what they and I talked about this before. I did a YouTube short on something. I said, if you got to make the person feel bad about not paying you, then you got to question what you're charging. Okay. In some cases, and I need to clarify that. If you got to talk them into paying you this high fee, most of the time it's a high fee, not the $30 fee or just a $5 stamp. Let's just say you happen to be at FedEx and you there at FedEx and they say, hey, I'm looking for a notary. Hey, I'm right here. And I've had this happen. I've been in the FedEx and somebody said, hey, I need a notary. I'm already there. I'm not going to charge them a travel fee. And they say, how much? It's just $5. Oh, no, no. We know that ain't too high. But if you sitting there and you telling them, well, my travel fee is $45 plus this fee plus that and the convenience of me being here and that. So it's gonna be $250. Most people are, wait a minute, wait a minute. You're behind already here. So it's not like I asked you to come here. You was already here. And I just need this one signature notarized. And you talking about it's a convenience. I gotta pay you a convenience fee in order to do that? No, 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 no. We not having that. We not, and I'm gonna show y'all something that way you can market yourself to set you apart from everybody else. Okay. So that's all right. Hold up, hold up, hold up, hold up. Let me get this little dude out of here. I don't know who this Jimmy guy is. I just took him out. Some spam dude. I just took him out. Y'all just ignore that dude. I don't know who he is. Talking about this guy's fake. All right. So here's one of the things that I have on my profile on that I believe that helps separate me right here. We don't charge convenience fees ever. I don't believe in that convenience fee thing. I don't. I don't believe in convenience fee thing whatsoever, especially if your state doesn't allow you to charge specifically a quote unquote convenience fee. Okay. If they don't allow you to charge a convenience fee, then what kind of convenience are you saying? Because some people say, well, you're putting me, it's an inconvenience to me. Um, it's a convenience to me to do this. And it's like no. No, it's not a convenience for you to do this. This is something you volunteered to do as a notary. And if somebody call you, you can say, no, I don't want to do it. But you're saying, well, you're calling me at 1 in the morning. You don't have to answer your phone. You're calling me at 3 in the morning. Well, you don't have to go. If you choose to go, that's on you. But the chat, well, I'm gonna do this as a convenience. And most notaries aren't doing stuff at 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. They're doing stuff at 8 in the morning, 10 in the morning, 4 in the afternoon, and they're charging people all kind of convenience fees for just showing up. And I don't believe that is right, especially if your state doesn't say you can. So I put in my profile, I don't charge convenience fees ever. That right there is going to separate me from all these other notaries, might make them mad, but hey, it's business. This is business. Okay. So if I'm not charging convenience fees, yes, they're gonna might start asking, why are you charging convenience fees? But this is my right to do. Okay. And one of the biggest problems that I see in the notary business is that they're trying to get everybody to like price the same. And that's where you get into collusion. You get into trying to collude to force people to pay you something, and we're not a trade union. That's where you get unionized, and we're not a trade union, and we're not supposed to be doing that. So people who are talking that way, telling you, and that's what they're really teaching. They're trying to say notary publics who are commissioned by the state, by the governor, we need to unionize so we can go and make the public pay us this fee that we feel we deserve. We need to be paid this. You need to give us this because of what we have to go through in order to do. And it's like, okay, what are you going through in order to do this job? Because you go through a whole lot more in your W 2, and you don't sit there and do that. And even if you do have a union, UPS, FedEx, and all of those places that have those unions, sometimes their workers still don't get paid what they should. Go look at research the railroad union stuff that was about to happen. The government, from my understanding, the government stepped in and caused the union leaders to, oh, okay, cool, Brian. It caused the union leaders to, they cut some deal, the union leaders with the federal government came up with some agreement to make the workers who are in the railroad union go back to work and not get any of the concessions, or most or get not as many concessions as they wanted. So even with a union, you have to be careful. Yeah, it just says join. It just says join. It doesn't say the join button. It'll just say join on there. And then if you look in the description of the video, there's a link in the description to join. So when you talk about a union for notaries, who's going to be in charge? You can't put me in charge because I ain't political. I'm for the people. So having me in there, most union leaders are really politician type folk that want the most for themselves, and they don't really look out for the little person or the non-presidents or union leaders. They try to do what's best to keep in office and all of that. So you have to be careful about that unions thing, and you got to be careful about trying to collude to force consumers to pay you something that they really shouldn't be paying you. Okay, especially when you're talking about somebody from a different state telling you what you should be doing in your own state. As a notary, we took an oath to follow our state guidelines, and you're telling me to do stuff that's outside of my state guidelines. Where are you going to be at if I get caught and get in trouble? Are you going to be there for me? And if the answer is no, and you're saying, well, you just got to make sure you do what's right, then I don't need to talk to you or listen to you in the beginning or at all, because I'm responsible for doing what's correct in accordance with my state law. And this is what notaries make the mistake, and this is where entrepreneurs make the mistake, period, is that they're unwilling to learn what their state laws are for whatever business they're running, and they're looking for some other person to tell them how to run their business. Unfortunately, that person over 99% of the time, 99.9% of the time, is not somebody from your state that knows your state laws and regulations on how to do things in that area, as well as your local. So that's the problem. You see what I'm saying? That's where the problem resides. So if you're depending on this guru over here to tell you what to do in your state and they don't know your state law, you could be in a world of trouble if you start executing what they said without having the proper knowledge of what you're supposed to do in accordance with your state law. And then the question becomes, why won't you learn and do what your state says and operate within that so you don't get in trouble? And for some people, they'll say, well, doing it that way restricts how much money I can make, and I really need to make this money. Okay, then find a different business. Well, no, I like this business. So you're going to stay in this business, whatever that business may be, and then try to find a way to push the envelope to make more than what you should be making and hope you don't get caught and get busted for doing so. Is that really what you're saying? And these are the questions you have to ask yourself. These are the questions you have to ask that notary trainer or that mentor or that coach. What are you getting me into? What are you telling me to do? What are you asking me to do? Is that a part of your character? Is that the kind of person you want to be, or the kind of person you are? That's what you got to ask yourself. This is how you run a business, by asking yourself, is the information that's being told to me, even what I'm saying, helping me to go down into a rabbit hole of destruction that could hurt me financially? Excuse me. That's why I still got my accountant information running right here, Rob. If you're trying to figure out, people telling you, oh, this is what you can do, you can deduct this, that, and the other. Can you? Oh, you don't need to set up an LLC. You just run your notary business underneath your car washing business, underneath your house repair business, underneath your house flipping business, underneath your wife's beauty salon. Really? Yeah. Okay. Think about it. That's how those people got in trouble with the PPP stuff, because they did this because somebody told them. And unfortunately, in some cases, there have been accountants that were into that. But some of those accountants probably weren't real accountants. They were just people who did taxes, but they weren't accountants. That's different. You need to be with a true accountant, because my accountant said that people came to him and he was like, don't even come roll up here with that with me. No, there's no PP fraud on my accountant's resume whatsoever. So hit them up and all that good stuff. All right. So Brian, I hope you straight with the join button. I'll show y'all again. Yeah, when you're looking at the video, it should say join right there. It doesn't say the word join button, but it just says join. And you click on that and you good. Then down in the description right here says join this channel. You can click on that. It's right down there and stuff and all that. All right. So then it says, honesty should always make you feel good. Twin sister and our notary's cool. I'm in Florida. She's in New York. We listen to you daily. Love your advice. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that, Miss Crawford. Really, really appreciate that. Aretha. Doro. Tia. I always be messing people's names up. Um, so I done said a lot here tonight. I know I done said a lot here. And I hope I'm answering questions and all of that. Whatever questions you got, and everything. So if there's any other questions you got, any other concerns, um, feel free to pop them in there. Hang on here for a few more minutes. Um, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to just ask your question. This is how you learn. This is how I learned. And I will be honest, if I don't know an answer, if I have to do some quick research while we here, like, okay, let's Google, let's look it up and figure it out. Most importantly, understand and know your state laws. If you're with the NNA National Notary Association, get on there and take that notary's essentials. If you understand how to notarize your notary certificates in accordance with your state guidelines, that is more than half the battle. That is, in my opinion, like 90% or more of what you need to make sure you do as a notary. The rest is just figuring out how to get business and being available to do the business. And I think it's more important to be available to do the business because as you do good work, others will pass your information on, they will share. So going back to the marketing question, a lot of my marketing has been because I've been available. When somebody needs me, I'm there. I'm there. And even with the thumbtack, I've had situations where I couldn't necessarily accommodate them, but I have a good friend of the family who's a notary, and I pass the work on to her. I will be like, I call her up and I like, hey, are you busy at this time? And she most of the time she's like, no, I'm free. And I will say, okay, I need you to take care of this. Here's the fee that we have to charge them. And I let her make that money. And she gets that money. So she'll go take care of them. I trained her. I did two of her refinances and I trained her as a notary. So I know she's solid. And then she know all she got to do is call me up if she runs into anything that's that's quirky and all of that. And then I help her go through it. And then she takes care of the person. So that person is taken care of. So whether it's me or my colleague, they get taken care of. I have a person up there in Newport News that I know I can call, and if somebody is up in that area, I give her a call, and she'll take care of them and all of that. So that's how I try to operate. And then the young Tara said, "What are you saying about W-2 notaries are so true? I started my notary commission work as an employee and didn't know anything about the loan signing. Two different worlds. That is what I'm trying to get y'all to understand. When when I first came into the business, the first thing that I was taught was that once you become a commissioned notary, you are legally allowed to notarize documents that your state says you can notarize. In Virginia, we can't do. Oh, I didn't hear. Oh man, I just thought about something. I have to hit them up tomorrow. Um, he didn't call me back. I just realized it. Oh man, I just realized somebody was supposed to have called me and they didn't. Nope, they didn't. So I have to make sure I give them a call tomorrow because they helping me to get something done. So I got it. Let me put that on. For whatever reason, you just reminded me of something. So let me put that on my calendar right now. Call and let me set that for 11 a.m. Oops. I gotta do that real quick. All right, cool. All right, so I had to put that there so I don't forget. Guy had to call him. But yeah, it's two different worlds. So once you become a commissioned notary, if somebody brings you a document that needs a notarial certificate added to it, you can do that. So whether it's a loan document, will, power of attorney, you can do that. Now, the whole point of being this loan signing, notary signing, all of that, the NNA is, and you can call the NNA and ask them, you know, I called and asked them because there was so many people was getting on me when I first got on YouTube about saying that I didn't know what I was talking about, that you can't do this business unless you're a loan signing agent and all of that. So I said, well, let me call the NNA. And I asked him, I said, do I have to be? And for me, the best time to call them is on a Saturday, because it's a lot less notaries calling and they're actually able to really talk to you. They're not trying to get to the next phone call. And the lady, she said, well, no, you don't have to be NNA certified in order to do loan closings. However, the um the lenders prefer it because that means you've gone through some level of training to help you to understand the loan process and what it's all about and how a loan closing should be done. In other words, to keep you from overstepping your bounds and saying something that you're legally not allowed to say. If you think about the NNA certification exam, whether you take their training course, the signing agent training course or not, the exam is primarily about you not overstepping your bounds as they will call it, a notary signing agent. Don't say this, don't do that, don't promise this, don't promise that. It's very little about how to notarize anything. It's here's what do you do if somebody takes the documents over in a room, comes back and everything is filled out. They're asking you, how do you handle this situation? What do you do if you hear such and such? What do you do if somebody if you're running late and they ask you, and you're running late to your next appointment and they offer, oh, I'll print them for you, which means you got to email them the documents and all that. So you're emailing the documents to somebody who's not a part of the process and all of that. That's a no, you don't do that. So it's about the do's and don'ts. Okay. If you really think about the NNA exam, it's about the do's and don'ts of a notary signing agent, not so much about what to do as a notary. Okay. That's notary essentials on how to notarize. But the signing agent is about what to do as a signing agent and how not to go over into the unauthorized practice of law. My issue with some of the people out here is that they're telling you, here's the line of good notary, bad notary. So good notaries over here, bad notaries over here. And they're telling you to do stuff that's getting you right on the line of unauthorized practice of law, getting you on the bad notary side. And the problem is you don't really know what is or isn't the unauthorized practice of law for the most part. Oh, you can do this, you can say that, you can prepare this, you can prepare that, and you might be on the bad notary side and not even know it. That's the concern. So you might be in a safer situation when you're a W 2 notary because you're not being inundated with all of this how to make extra money stuff. You're just doing your job on a day to day basis. Boom, 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 getting paid not a whole lot, but you're not putting yourself in the bad notary category by overstepping your bounds. You come out here as an independent notary, you don't have that protection or that environment of the W 2 that's just specifically saying, do this. Now you got all these entities telling you you can do all of this other stuff, and nobody is actually preparing you or showing you what to do. That's where the problem comes in at. You get what I'm saying? That's where the problem comes in at 100%. So you have to be really, really careful about the information you're listening to. You or I, neither one of us can stop people from doing what they do. Okay. We can't stop them from doing what they do and what they say. Sorry about that. However, we can be more attentive to what we listen to and what we execute in our life. Is what they're talking about something we need to be executing? If it is, cool. Do the research, make sure it's legit, and then go from there. If what they're saying is a bunch of hogwash, leave it. Leave it. You don't have to do what everybody says. You don't even have to do any of what I'm saying. I'm just trying to pose the questions and stuff. I'm trying to get to the truth of the matter so that we can ask the questions. Is what you're telling me something I really should be doing legitimately? If you're saying I need you as a mentor, if you say I need you as a trainer or a coach, then what are you doing to ensure that what you're telling me is within the confines of my state law? If their answer is that's on you, you need to figure that out. So that means what you're saying is that you're just running your mouth with no regard to whether or not what you're saying is even valid. So it's on me to make sure what you're saying is valid, but I can't know whether I can't even hear what you're saying unless I pay you. So I got to pay you to get into the room to hear what you're saying, and then I got to go back out the room and find out whether or not what you said is valid. Okay, then if I find out what you said is valid, is not valid, Do I get my money back? No. They're gonna tell you straight up, no. So I don't get my money back for what you're saying is not valid. That's the problem I have. It's on me to make sure what you're saying is valid, but I can't know what you're saying until I pay the cost to get in to hear what you're saying, and I don't get a refund once I find out what you're saying is a bunch of bull. I don't win, but you made your money and you rocking hard, and you ain't had to do a loan closing. So yeah, it's here. What is the best place to get business cards? The best place is whoever has the best price with the best design. And it can be anybody. It could be Vistaprint. You could design your own. Q the Notary, my man Q the Notary. If you go on IG, he's at always I should know his IG by heart. Let me pull his stuff up. I don't know. I should know his IG by heart, and I don't. I don't. I don't think I know anybody's Instagram by heart. And then, of course, when I'm trying to find it, do my little scrolly thing there. All right, here it is. Um, hold up. Oh, snap! What the heck? Oh, oh, oh. Whew. I don't know what happened there. Oh, okay. I hit the at G. All right. So here's Q's Instagram, and he does some really, really nice graphics. You see what he does for himself and everything. He did this here for Ada. He does business cards, all of that. Man, he be doing them graphics up for me and Matthew when we do the Notaries Unsealed podcast and everything. So he did our logo. He does a lot of great work. He did some great work for Lori for her conference. Um, oh, that's a video that he did. He does video presentations. So if you need any of that, he got you. I mean, he did the rap intro for our program. So you can see he does great artwork. Um yeah, so hit him up, Captivated Notary, marketing solutions. Um yeah, he does an excellent job. An excellent, excellent job. So he's the one to hook up with and stuff. So he'll help you out with the business cards, all of that. Tell him Griff sent you, and he'll take good care of you and let you know. If you want to just quickly do something, you can always go to Vistaprint. That's what I did. I went to Vistaprint, and this was way long before I met Q. And I got so many cards right now. I got to wait till those go down and get him to work with me on designing something different. But I use the business card just as a tool to just let them know, hey, I'm here. I don't even know if I have this. I normally have them on my thing up here because my business card. Hold on one second, Marty. I don't have any up here in my office. Normally, I have them in my office. My bad, y'all. I normally have them in my office. Actually, I got a bunch of them in my car right now. So, but my business card is real simple, nothing fancy, just says who I am, this, that, and the other. So it all depends on how deep you want to get with the business card. One of the things I will say, make sure your font isn't too small. I've seen too many business cards where the font is so small that it's hard to read. And I'm still I thought I was doing something with the cars up here the other day. And hold on one second. Hold on, y'all. Hold on. All right. I don't know if y'all gonna be able to see that. Too much glare. I ain't gonna worry about it. Going, yeah, too much glare off of my camera. But basically, I just got on there my name, business name, a slogan, phone number. I don't have my address on here, my email, and types of things that I do: loan closing, wills, power of attorney, e-notary. That's all. I just got a really simple email. Business card that has just the basic stuff on there. You just stick you back in here, and that's excuse me. That's it. So I'm not getting super fancy with my business card. I just have basic information on there and I give it out. And all that good stuff. So all right, we've been up here for 2 hours. Didn't expect to be up here that long, but hey, um, I hope all hearts and minds are clear. I hope I've been able to bring y'all some value and help y'all with some of the notary stuff. And again, it's not about trying to start stuff. These are questions and stuff that I ask myself about business, about how I'm supposed to do things, about information that people is trying to share and tell me I can do or I should be doing. Um, that's what I'm trying to figure out. I'm like, okay, is what you're saying legitimately going to help me where I'm at? If it is, cool. And I will say this, and I meant to say this earlier, but thanks for everybody who's hung in here, the 15, 16 people here. You'll hear this. Hopefully, people will listen to the end to hear it. And I meant to say this in the beginning and the middle. I meant to say this several times. The majority of the notary work is about boots on the ground. The majority of the notary work is about boots on the ground. It's not about selling programs, products, trinkets, widgets, gadgets. All of that is nice. It's going to only be a small percentage of people who are going to be successful in selling those things to a level that can financially set them up for life. There's nothing wrong with that. But the bulk of what we is that's out here in the notary world is actually doing notarizations. And if you can't get yourself to a point of actually doing notarizations and all of that, then you know, how do you plan on really sustaining yourself? There's nothing wrong with doing notarization. There's people out here that you don't know about. They're making good money being a notary. They just don't brag about it or say anything on YouTube, because if they did, everybody would be hitting them up. How you do it? How you do it? How you do it? I'll pay you. I'll pay you. And then you get distracted from doing what you've been doing over here for your customers and your notary work over here for the last 10, 15 years. And now you're trying to train somebody and mentor somebody who may not even want to listen to you, who may not be patient, who may not have the business acumen or the mental capacity to do what you're talking about doing, and willing to commit to doing it, like you said, to do. I know people like, he rubbed his nose and he didn't put no hand sanitizer on it. So I did. But not everybody's cut out for this business. That's the side of my nose. Not everybody's cut out for this business. And I'm making my money by being boots on the ground. Can because for me to compete with training course, notary database, all of that, it's going to take a lot of effort. Not that I couldn't, but let me show you, I don't have the money and the time to do it. I would literally, I would have to pay somebody to help me get that done. And that's going to cost some money, 10, 15 grand. And then I'm going to have to market it and do it in such a way to say, my stuff is better than their stuff. I'm going to have to go at the other people who are doing it and be like, you don't need to use theirs, you need to use mine. And I got to build the relationships to say what I'm offering the notary world is better than everybody else. I'm not ready for that. Some people are. That's all some people are looking to do and focus on. Just as one person told me, there are some people who don't want to be notaries. They just want to sell stuff to notaries. There are people who don't want to be notaries. They just want to sell stuff to notaries. And when they said that, that's when I said I got to be careful even the more and watch what is being done out here, because you just might be trying to sell me something, that snake oil stuff. It's not really something legit that can help me in my business. And you're doing a quick money grab and you're out. So if there's people who that's all they want to do is sell stuff to notaries, but they don't want to be a notary, then you're selling me something that you don't even know whether or not will be beneficial to me. Some key insight. I had not thought about that. And I'm glad they told me that. So there's some people who don't want to really be a notary or do what notaries do, but they want to train. There's some people that don't want to be notaries, but they want to have a signing company. There's nothing wrong with that. You just need to be aware of that in your own mind, that when you're dealing with these businesses, they don't have your best interest at heart. They have their own best interest at heart. And as long as you're doing as long as you're doing what they want you to do, the way they want you to do it, no questions asked, no talk, no back talk per se, they're cool with you. But the moment you stand up for yourself and question something that they're telling you to do, something that they said to you, or how they're dealing with you or treating you, then they get angry. And if they're getting angry because you're honestly asking a question, where's my pay? Where's this? Why is this? Why is that? What are you talking about? Your instructions are confusing. You told me to do this, but now you're telling me to do that. You see what I'm saying? And you start asking questions, and they're like, okay, you asking questions interferes with me being able to do what I need to do, or you're being difficult. Now I'm not being difficult. I'm just have an honest question. And when people don't want to answer your question, that's when you get concerned. I found some invoices that hadn't got paid. I emailed the person, ain't heard nothing back. I'm about to like, okay, now I got a call like, hey, I need proof. Did these get paid? Because the system is saying that they didn't. Did they get paid? Now, some invoices got paid, some didn't. So if they did get paid, then can you provide me when your system says the checks cleared cleared, because you're using a third party. The third party is saying they have no evidence that these were paid. So what evidence do you, signing company, that they were paid? And we need to reconcile that. And I'm working on my end to reconcile it through my account and everything, because I thought they were paid, but apparently they weren't. So that's another reason why you got to stay up on your accounting. And I haven't heard anything from them, and it's been basically a whole week. And I'm like, okay, you could at least respond back saying, got your email. Now I might be wrong because I got to go check my spam. That might have went into my spam, and I'll check. But if I haven't heard anything in my spam, then my question is, why couldn't you respond? You got your email there saying contact you, and I hear nothing. No reply back like, hey, I got it. I'm gonna look into it. I'll get back with you in a week or something. Get what I'm saying? So not everybody is business smart or have the ability to run business correctly. And that's why you as the notary got to do your part so that you can do things right. And you got to stand up for yourself, because at the end of the day, this is your business. It's no one else's. And you're responsible for doing what you need to do to bring in the money that you need for your family to take care of your responsibilities. Once you understand that and stop leaning or looking to lean on everybody else to teach you every single thing, every aspect, there's nothing wrong with asking questions and inquiring and collaborating, but you got to do your own research. And it all starts with you reading and understanding your notary laws for your state. From there, I guarantee you, if you understand that, everything else opens up, because once you understand what you're supposed to be doing according to your state laws, You will then be able to better determine whether or not what somebody is offering to teach you is even valid. It's that simple. Is what you're teaching me valid? But I don't know because I don't know what my state laws are. You're saying I can do it. My state law said I can't. So bye to you, hello to my state laws. And if you feel your state laws are too restrictive, then you form some kind of way to talk to the state and ask for more money. If the state says, be quiet, get away from us, it ain't happening, then you either stick with what the state says and do that and work very hard to make it profitable for you, or you start selling stuff to notaries and get out of doing that, or you just find a whole different industry. And most people who are selling stuff to notaries, not all, but a lot of the newer people who are doing it over, especially the last 2 years, is because they don't want to do what it takes to be an actual notary. They don't like going in people's homes. They don't want to deal with people and all that kind of stuff. They don't like people with the dogs. I was at the house today, dog shedding all over the place. Of course, the dog wanted to come up on me, and I got on black pants, so I got dog hair all over me. There's people that don't like that kind of stuff, and I'm not against you not liking it. And I understand that. I have to be careful going in houses with cats because my wife is allergic to cats. So I got to make sure that when I get done with that, I clean off real good, change clothes, so she's not getting affected by the cat stuff. I got that. If that's not you, you don't want to do what it really takes to be a notary signing agent from going out into people's homes, respect that. You find something else to do, and that's what a lot of people have done. But again, is what they're selling you for you. If it is, cool. Just like the song is in the church song, what God has for me is for me. Okay, is what you have for me, I'll rock with you. If it's not, I got to leave you alone. And I don't need to be in your groups. I don't need to be in your circles. I don't need to have anything to do with you for us following you, listen to you when I know basically what you're saying doesn't fit me whatsoever. Why listen to information that doesn't fit you just so you can be in the know? Now you're being nosy. Are you trying to learn something or are you just being nosy? Which one is it? And spending your time being nosy doesn't help you grow your business. Being nosy stunts your business. Learning proper information for your business is what grows your business. Being nosy just to sit around and see the drama that's coming up, that doesn't grow your business. And I'm gonna leave it at that, y'all. So y'all have a good night. Thanks for hopping on. Those of you who joined as members and you sign up, look on the community tab, and you'll see the as a member. Da, 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 da. Hold on one second. Let me show y'all this. I meant to show y'all this earlier. Um, so as and you also got to say your YouTube name that you joined with. That way I can verify. So if you are oops, sorry about that. Once you join as a member, you see this members only posts right there, the little star members only. Those are posts that I did just for the members only. Okay, just for the members. And so different things I have on there, just trying to get people to be aware of what's going on. Members only posts, all of that kind of stuff. So when you go to the community tab, that's where you'll see it. And if you don't see that star by a post, that means you're probably not on any post. You don't see at all. That means you're not a member. But if you see that, that means you're a member, and you can see that post. And then in there it has all of the information for signing up for the Zoom. So thank y'all again. Greatly appreciate each and every one of y'all. Wonderful questions. I love the questions. Feel free to ask any other things in the comment section. Um, I'm here to help to the best of my ability. And that's all. I'm just trying to influence you to do your notary commission correctly. That's the only thing I'm trying to do. If I can get you to do what you're supposed to do as a notary correctly, then I've done my job. And that's the only accolade I need, is to see you doing what you're supposed to do, and we good. All right. Talk to y'all later. Peace.